Good day to you, my fellow Skeletons. I'm Kenetor and welcome back for another Starbase progress report. We're on week 29 of 2021, and if you're new here, I bring you the latest news and updates of everything Starbase every Monday. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out. Plus, it really helps out the channel. Now let's get to it. I'd like to thank everyone who has been so positive to my channel update I posted on my 2-year YouTube anniversary, and for those who have already helped donating or subscribing via Donor Box and the YouTube membership program. Over time, this will really help me create more awesome content for you guys. If you haven't supported yet and want to, there'll be a link in the description. And don't forget to add a comment with your donation containing your Discord tag to access the support channel and get recognition on the Discord. That said, I'm grateful to all of you who come back every week and watch my content. You all keep pushing me forwards and I'm grateful for all the support. The countdown to early access ticks down for the final time with just 3 days to go now until the launch of Starbase. Frozen Byte cancelled last week's patch to help save time to get the launch ready. I'm fully okay with this as every second counts for this to be ready for everyone. This meant the patch we were on was the patch closed alpha would end with, and end it did, but not first without one last party at Origin. This felt like the biggest ever stress test I've ever seen the game have. We had masses of ships, people crashing ships everywhere, having a lot of fun. People were dropping literally thousands upon thousands of stacks of ore from their inventories everywhere, as well as ship and station pieces too. There were devs, dancing, and the biggest endo tower you have ever seen. This thing just kept on going. The sheer mess that was left over by the event left Origin looking like a festival ground once everyone had left. Trash everywhere. But amazingly, despite all this, the servers themselves never crashed. And if you left Origin, performance would be back to normal. Honestly, I'm impressed the game could even handle that many separate objects. But after rushing around to collect some last minute footage for some videos I'm going to be working on this week, the time finally ran out. And so I returned to the Origin spawn point to leave closed alpha as I entered it, naked and dancing with joy. As but a few moments later, time seemed to stand still and everything went black as the universe faded from existence. So long, closed alpha, you served us well. In all, I had spent 2,407 hours in closed alpha since the day it began, and I can't wait to smash that number in early access. Now let's hit up some Larry quotes of the week, and we're going to start with the common question I've seen since the price got announced. Is that price inclusive of the 10% discount? Larry clarifies in the first week the price will be the announced with the extra reduction of 10%. Honestly, this is a bargain for this game. And if you're puzzled why the price itself isn't part of this news, well, I did a whole extra price and roadmap update this week as its own video. So make sure you check it out after this one if you haven't seen it, link in the description. Something that only a few people picked up on and also revealed a bit more in this week's update was the fact that the main belt won't be the only belt in early access. There will be other belts out there, with at least some of them being around some of the moons. Look out for the yellow belt cloud later in the video. Larry gives us a little clarification here. Some of the belts are accessible and used, but most of them are for a bit later use. EOS belt won't change much besides a reseeding. Asteroid belts and clouds are not limited to EOS or moons, but moon belts are the most easy and logical to start with. So first it's belts for some moons. And he finishes up with belts in general, even the very small ones, are easily billions of asteroids. So it seems not only the moons themselves will be hotspots, but the areas around them too. This should also lay to rest any fear of the belts running out of asteroids. This next quote will be for the ones thinking they can quickly jet off to a moon in a capital ship. Larry clarifies again that capital ships require pre-save coordinates, and that exploration will most likely be a good business. But how will we save these coordinates, I hear you ask? Well, Larry also says a very large device needs to be taken to the place and used there for a set time to save one chip, and they most likely will radiate a lot for some odd reason. Looks like we're going to be getting another device coming to normal ships with the capital ship launch, and it will also tie into the new radiation mechanics when they come around too. But before we can get ourselves a shiny new capital ship, we will also need a station to build them from, and Larry drops a little info here. Hangar areas enable easy build mode and the SSC once supported on player stations, as well as ship physical storage. Capital Ship's dock is a separate dock to stations, which also enables the Capital Ship creation area. This dock can be extended when needed, and one station can eventually have multiple docks for parking needs. It's going to be wild further down the line when the bigger community stations could have several capital ships docked to them. This could even be a service offered to other players. But before stations, we're still going to need to craft some spaceships, and this will now involve a tech tree as the credit shops for components are going away. Larry says the tech tree limits only personal crafting, not the use of parts, so things like the ship designer will have the full set from the start. Note that ordering a ship from there requires the parts or ores though, and with the ores there's extra fees, so parts are better. Ship shops only sell with parts and ores, and yes, there's an assembly fee here too. The ship designer crafting fees are heavily tilted towards devices, so you can save quite a lot just by crafting or purchasing these devices. The ship designer prices also encourage either personal crafting or auction house use. Wow, it looks like we could be facing a price hike when it comes to ships just made out of ore in the ship designer. This new personal crafting is going to shake it up for all of those who are in closed alpha, as it's so different from how we've played. New players won't have to worry as everything will be so fresh for them. Now I know a lot of you from closed alpha have blueprints you will want to use, and Larry said they will create an import process for alpha players soon-ish, but likely not straight at early access launch. They want that awesome content in early access, but at the same time, it's fair to agree that likely they won't have the resources to build these anyway right at the start. And I'm with Larry on this one. It will probably be some time before we can afford most of our blueprints anyway, so we can relax on this one and give the devs the time they need to focus on the launch rather than the few of us that got access and stuck around long enough to make anything worthwhile. They have to focus on the bigger picture here. For those wondering on the sheer scale of Starbase, this one's for you. Larry says that Starbase is on a realistic scale with planetary sizes. For example, their medium moon is over 785,000 square kilometers. To give you some context here, one of Mars's moons, Deimos, has a surface area of just under 500,000 square kilometers. And Earth's moon has a surface area of around 38 million square kilometers, so it varies quite a bit. For those wondering what will happen to Collective's widely used ISAN navigation system in early access, don't worry, it will be making a return. And as Larry said, it just needs to be recalibrated. The devs are adding several signal stations to help with navigation, since the origin stations will be dynamic, and Larry says the placement is being optimized to work great. So just give it a few days and I'm sure Collective will release new code to the community to use in their ships. Now even if you don't use these systems, these signal stations should help give you a visual sense of your orientation to the belt, just from the transponders alone. So it's good news for everyone here. Next up we have further information on the cosmetics being released at the end of the year to help fund Starbase long term. Larry says most of the in-app purchases they have planned are actually some kind of trinkets or fun to use, but still purely cosmetic. At one point he was thinking dance moves, but they would be used by anyone nearby, i.e. it would allow ad hoc dance parties. Then one idea was to have a rock or dust sample collection box where you could collect rock and dust samples from all over the universe. And then you could simply have picture frames and the possibility to take those pictures. Limited use but charging emotes have also been thought of. So like 5 uses but charges 1 use per day or week. And this would be like confetti or some special thing of course. This is really interesting and I believe the first we've heard of stuff outside of endo armor or emotes when it comes to cosmetics. There really is no limit to what they could do with this, and the only worry is how much fun it will give the players. And on that note, sign me up for the dance parties. Jumping back again to stations briefly, many people seem to have thought the 30 starter stations would be split around the planet of Eos. This is not the case and the devs have described it as a ring. This ring will have about 10 kilometers between each station, and I mentioned this in my release details video. But this ring will also be curved around the belt a little, leading someone to explain it's like a Pringle, when Excelli from Frozen Byte confirmed that sounds about right. I thought it only right to combine the two and call it the Great Origin Ringle, which I think Excelli wants to accept as the official name to it now. And then right on time, Meme Master Zaf gives us a nice visual representation. Nice work, Zaf. And we will finish this mammoth quote section with an idea that was just never meant to be. Larry said years ago they even had a breech torpedo which fits one endo. Sadly, none of that remains, and it was just a concept. If you have any questions on the video today, don't hesitate to leave me a comment or come chat about it on my Discord, link is in the description. Now don't go anywhere, and let's dive into this week's progress report. The main design features worked on this week are asteroid belt test configurations have been worked on, and build restriction area and safe zones have been configured. In this week's station design, we have origin stations have been updated in preparation for early access, gameplay and station positions and rotations configured. Shop terminals have been removed except for auction house, armor shop, cell terminals and spaceship shops. Spaceship shops have been added to Origin's fast travel gate and removed from the other gates. Names have been added for all station parts, and the labourer was added to the Sunny Ship Centre. Jumping into gameplay now, work on freeform easy build mode for non-module objects is underway. New station foundation module projector configurations have been finished. It's now possible to prevent players' ships from entering station safe zones. Various beams, such as the mining laser, should now make a sound on first use. Auto bolting no longer uses attachment plates and thus no longer bolts beams. Ship Designer's auto bolt removal tool now doesn't remove beam worlds. Bolts are once again allowed to merge certain entity hierarchies, for example 2 hinges to move 1 door. And work on adding tripods to the Ship Designer continues. Our UI updates this week, our design for player station tutorial has been worked on. Work on station easy build mode HUD design continues. Issue with station list permission summary not being up to date has been fixed. And station access page preparations for early access have been made. Designers see some big sweeping changes this week. With the Spaceship Designer building budget changes, cables, pipes and ducts now have a shared max limit. The building budget has also changed, with overall object limit now being 15,000 and voxel volume limit is now 2 billion. That's an increase of another 400 million since closed alpha. Also, attachment plates are no longer available, and the attachment layer has been replaced with the bolts layer. Ship Easy build mode has more modules with more cockpit modules, fast travel gate core module, and some weapon modules have been added. An automatic thruster naming not always naming regular thrusters in easy build mode has been fixed. And lastly, other updates this week, our materials crafting workbench has been worked on, and the model is nearly finished. And VFX work on the new upcoming tripod variants has been started. Now there's no feature video this week, but if you do have your own cool contraption or amazing ship to show off, be sure to send any clips and recordings my way for a chance to be featured on the channel. Feel free to contact me via Discord or come jump on my Discord server, which is also home to my faction, the K-Bots, should you be looking for one to join. As always, please smash that like button, share this video with your friends and faction, leave a comment with any questions you want answers to, and I'll see you in the next one. Kenetor, out.